Orange Avenue, a unique and historic part of Fort Pierce. Mom and pop shop, restaurants, and many other businesses. But just like many other cities across our nation, the area between US Highway 1 and 10th Street began to lose its shine. It wasn't too long ago that Orange Avenue was in need of redevelopment and revitalization. Recognizing that something needed to be done to help refresh this area, city officials collaborated with local residents and decided on a new vision and direction for Orange Avenue. The result? The Peacock Arts District. Today's Orange Avenue is an inviting destination for businesses and visitors. The Peacock Arts District, or the PAD, has been branded with its own logo, identity, and beautification projects, including new street lighting, pole banners, the painting of terracotta pots, and of course, and most recently, the unveiling of gorgeous art murals. The Peacock's Arts District Mural Program originates out of the Fort Pierce Redevelopment Agency. And the FPRA is really focused on revitalizing areas within its boundaries, including the Peacock's Arts District, so that we can eliminate slum and blight and welcome in positive economic activity. The PAD program has meant so much to the community, just seeing the input and seeing the excitement on people's faces.
Yeah, these murals are just fabulous for the city of Fort Pierce. It brings more culture to the city, and really it just makes you smile.
It's so important to have art. It really builds community and brings people together.
Paint the pad!
I was able to work with 3 remarkable artists who have lended their talent to us by creating these beautiful murals. It's like they understood the mission. These artists hand-painted these murals, and that's something that, makes this program so special. All right, Samara, so as you know, you are a very important part of this entire program, and so we're glad to have you on board because you're doing a lot of work and you have a great history of doing murals. And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to maybe start off with you sharing a bit more about yourself.
Hey, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. So my name is Samara Ash. I was born in Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia, but I reside in Miami. And one thing that was very interesting is you see the mural in the pictures and you come to the site visit and you're like, yeah, of course I can paint that. But when you begin to paint and when you get into the space and when you feel the vibe of the community, it's a whole different story. But yeah, I've been painting for over 25 years already. And I did my first mural when I was 10 years old. So for our viewers, so they can kind of take into account the size, the building itself is around 29 feet high. So let's go with approximately 30 feet. And all the way across, it will be 61 feet. Plus, there's a little entrance that I also got to paint. So we are looking at approximately 2,100 square feet. So one fun fact about it is that you have a big mural, and for example, there's a part that has these flowers and it has these leaves that are very beautiful, and I'm there painting the mural, like literally going, using my shoulder, my body, just like with a spray paint, and then I get down from the boom lift, and then it looks like a tiny little flower, but yet the flower in reality is like 11 feet tall. So that's kind of interesting, fun, and exciting, but it definitely pushes the limits.
Yeah, so I know for the program, during the call for artists, we did state the theme for the different art pieces or art designs that folks were gonna share with us. And the theme was basically that you could use the city as your inspiration for it. So how would you explain the inspiration behind it and what it means?
So the platform for it was definitely past, present, and future. And how do you show that? So I began with the arch idea, feeling that thing, like time is just passing by. It's going from one cycle to another. So primarily I began with the protagonist. The protagonist is Awina. Awina means sunrise. It's a Native American word. It means sunrise, and this is the Sunrise City. So she is embodying not only the past generations, because she does have a few indigenous characteristics about herself, so showing a bit of the history of those that used to live here a few hundred years ago. But she also, to me, represents the new generation to come.
Wow. Very, very beautiful. Very beautiful to hear that. That's exactly the aim of the program. Our goal was not just to put art into the community because it's art and we see it elsewhere. We wanted this to be special and specific to the city of Fort Pierce and the city of Fort Pierce community. And also the businesses. We're talking about economic development and bringing foot traffic into the Peacocks Arts District. And I can already see the domino effect it could have to so many of the properties that are next to your mural in particular. And I'm very much sure it's going to be the same case with the other murals that are all along the Orange Avenue corridor. So thank you so much for this. Our community is very appreciative to have had a wonderful artist like you. So thank you so much, Samara, for your time.
No, and thank you to this community for giving me the opportunity just to partake in it for a small amount of time, and hopefully now for the future.
You're welcome. Thank you. We have another mural artist with us. Her name is Zoe Bridges, and she had the pleasure of blessing us with the mural designs that you see up at the 500 Orange Avenue property and the 710 Orange Avenue. So joining us is that artist, like I said, Zoe Bridges. How are you, Zoe?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. We're so glad to have you, to speak to you about the mural designs that you put up and this wonderful program that we've started. It's, like I said before, the first time we've put together a program like this for the Fort Pierce Redevelopment Agency. So with that being said, I think that, most people want to know who you are and what you're about and what brought you to this opportunity. So if you can share a bit about yourself.
So again, yes, thank you for having me. My name is Zoe Alyssa. I own Tigress Mural and Design. I founded Tigress Mural and Design back in 2022 to help those a little inexperienced really creating an experience in their business, home, or community. So I design with you and create original artworks to be enjoyed by yourself and others.
Wonderful. And the thing is that I know that there's plenty of maybe opportunities out there, right? Mm-hmm. But what specifically attracted you to our Call for Artists application?
So I actually am from Fort Pierce. My mom is born and raised Fort Pierce. She grew up down the street from my 710 mural, actually, the Peacock at 710 Orange Ave. She used to walk past that wall going to school, so it really hit home to see that time and money and the arts is really being cultivated here in my hometown. So
that in our Call for Artists, we kind of had a theme that we shared about what type of mural designs we're looking at, using the city of Fort Pierce's inspiration, but specifically for, your murals, what was your inspiration for those two? So
when submitting designs for this, I took into consideration the prompt, the focus, which is the past, present, and future of Fort Pierce. The first property I had the pleasure of working on was the 500 Orange Ave. Taking into consideration that its first use was a post office, where my murals are painted is actually where the old windows used to be, and they've been since filled in, since it has a different purpose now. And they are vintage postcards. So the whole mural installation is titled Wish You Were Here, and that is featuring postcards or images of our scenic highway, our Indian River, which our ports and our Indian rivers is how Fort Pierce developed in the first place. Also, it notes that we are the playground or the winter haven of the world, Florida, or the Sunshine State. And the last two is, of course, referencing our citrus. So I have a citrus botanical, oranges, and a pollinator, a local swallowtail butterfly, and also a crate of oranges. So the postcard notes the creative citrus I promised you from the Sunshine State, Florida.
What type of long-term impact do you think a program like this can have, both in the artist community here and maybe the community in general?
Well, to put it in an analogy or lame terms, if you live in a city and all you see is concrete, unmaintained, you walk past it every day, go into work, clock in, come home, you may not feel a sense of belonging, a sense of inspiration or impact, even on where you spend most of your time. And now, locals walking to work get to see this beautiful, bright, in-your-face mural. Murals in public art in general show intent. They show that the city or redevelopment agencies, they see you, they care about you, they know you're here, and they want everyone to thrive. Murals help bring people together and cultivate culture.
And, ultimately, it's going to help us, in terms of solidifying our identity as well.
Yes.
Every community that is taking advantage of a mural program, they're able to kind of create their own story or share their story with the world. And that's what we're trying to do with the Peacocks Arts District mural program in Fort Pierce. And I have to make it clear because it's in Fort Pierce, and we want to make it clear that this is a program unique to our community. So it was wonderful having you. Thank you for spending the time with us. We learned so much. All right, so right now I have with me Nico. She is one of 3 artists that we have that participated in the Peacocks Arts District mural program. She is with me right now. Nico, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're glad to have you here. So I'm super glad because we know that, the work that you've been doing as part of this program, it's turning some tides. Like it's really, causing a lot of great conversation in the community because the artwork that you've shared with us through the mural that you painted on the Metro PCS store there on, I believe, 6th Street in Orange. It stands out. What has been the most challenging mural that you've done? Because, like I said, I've seen your work, and you do. It surprises me how many types and how far your art can go. But what's been your most challenging project?
Well, to be honest, no matter how long you paint murals, no matter how many years you put into it, no matter how much you learn, every project has its own unique challenges and its own unexpected challenges. So you just have to kind of roll with the punches and learn from your mistakes and just prepare for the next opportunity. When something goes wrong with one job, you take a note. Next time, to prepare for this or avoid this, we'll incorporate this.
Another artist that I spoke to, it was almost the same thing. It's, you get in front of this wall space that you got to paint and you know what you're supposed to do on it, but then at the same time, you're not sure. Even as, much experience as you have, you still can get those butterflies, but yet that muscle memory kicks in, that passion kicks in, and right before you know it, there's a masterpiece. Yeah. And that's what astonishes me because these are not vinyl, printed wraps. These are handmade, hand-painted, eye to wall kind of deal. Yeah. And I think that's what makes these so special. And artwork, great thing about it is that, it demands an emotional response. Like it makes people feel different types of ways. You can change an environment with art. I mean, we noticed that along Orange Avenue, and just the same way it gave hope in a distressed community, in an underserved community, that there's hope that lies beyond the situation. That's the same thing we're trying to do along Orange Avenue, because for many, many years, it hasn't been the most appealing street to drive down, but people notice a major difference now. And even before the mural work, there was a huge cleanup that was done along that street. You also see painted flower pots as well.
Those are beautiful.
We had volunteer artists do that at the time for that initiative, and now that that's done and the murals have been completed, it just you can envision the future of that space a lot more. I want to say thank you again, Nico, for being out here, being in Fort Pierce with us to share about yourself. We'll see you again.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. I want to thank all of our community partners that participated in making this program a success. If you would like to learn more about the FPRA and many of the other activities and programs that are going on, please go to thecityoffortpierce.com, the Fort Pierce Redevelopment Agency webpage.